Yo, hello everyone, welcome to another terminal session, and in this video we're gonna take a look at MobChart. This is a platform that holds a very special place in my heart because this is the first platform that actually helped me get funded in a Profirm account. And stick to the end of the video to find out exactly how I used to execute some specific trading setups utilizing its screener and alerts. So let's get right into charting. This is the first thing that you're gonna see once you sign into your MobChart account, and from this point on we're gonna go to the charts and workspaces. And as you can see, MobChart already gives us our first workspace on the right, but we're gonna start with a completely new workspace just for demonstration purposes. So let's hit create workspace and let's open it. When you're starting with a new workspace, the first thing that you're gonna see is create a widget. Anything that you want to add in your MobChart workspace can be added with widget. As you can see, you have a plethora of widgets such as chart widget, watchlist widget, alerts, order book, trades, liquidity screener, volume screener, liquidation screener, imbalance screener, and script editor. To keep this video simple, we're just gonna stick with the chart widget and the liquidity screener, which are the main things that I used for my setups. So let's open a chart widget. Here you can choose whatever exchange you want the data to come from. And let's choose Binance Spot. And here you can choose your ticker. So I'm gonna go with Bitcoin. And just like that, I have my Bitcoin chart ready. Now, what I usually do at this point is add another chart widget right here, but this time I'm gonna choose Binance Futures, and then I'm gonna find again Bitcoin. So this way, I'm checking both Binance Spot and Binance Perps, the two most important markets, at the same time. Now allow me to very quickly tweak the charts a little bit to make them come more into my preferences. And just like that, I have two very identical charts, one monitoring Binance Spot market on the left and one monitoring Binance Futures market on the right. Just a hint, with the analysis that we're gonna do, when you see these two markets sharing the same bias, usually the confirmation is a lot stronger, so this is something that I like to have in my mind. Moving on, again, I'm gonna add a new widget, and now let's scroll down to find it. And here I'm gonna choose the liquidity screener. Regarding the liquidity screener, here you can, with a glance, see the whole liquidity of the market, and keep in mind that liquidity is the main factor that actually moves the market, in case you didn't know. So to me, this is one of the most useful components that you can come across with MobChart. And now let's go straight into the settings. Here, when you see this for the first time, you might be a bit overwhelmed by these settings, but most of them are actually quite simple to understand. So at the start, we got orders distance to the current price. Here you can choose what's the maximum distance percentage-wise for a huge resting limit order to be from current price. I prefer to put this on 1%. Then you got the lifespan in minutes. With this, basically you choose for how long you want the limit order to have been active. This filter can be helpful because without it, you're gonna get a lot of alerts and false alarms from spoofing. I prefer to put this to 30 minutes. Then you got the order strength and the orders quantities distribution. These two filters are very sophisticated and unique to MobChart, and because they might be a bit complicated, I'm gonna put the explanation for them on your screen right now so you can see yourself exactly what they do, taken straight from MobChart's own documents. So the settings I prefer to use here is 80 and 16. Then you got the size in dollars amount, which is the filter for how much greater or equal you want the resting limit order to be in order to show up on the screener. For this one, and since we are on the spot, I prefer to put 80,000. Then you got the orders approximate filling, which is something that you can choose in case you want some percentage of the order to have been filled. Then you got the current orders price touches, which is how many times you want the price to have actually touched these huge resting limit orders. And orders price level touches today, which is the same thing, but how many times have this occurred today? I prefer to leave the last three on 0. After that, you get the option to only show specific pairs or otherwise exclude pairs. Excluding pairs can be quite useful for the notifications, which we will check later. I'm personally not gonna choose to exclude orders with unstable quantities because sometimes I like to keep an eye on those orders as well, but that's up to you. You can play around with this, and if you want, you can tick this to have a little bit of better quality when it comes to your screener. And at the end, we got the show orders, where by default this is set to all, but you can select another screener in case you want to see different criteria for asks or bids. But for this setup purposes, we're just gonna leave this to all. Now for the notifications, we can simply press this button and it's gonna copy all the settings that we currently configured and put them right into the notification tab. And if we hit start notifications, since I have my Telegram already set up, I'm gonna get notified every time that a token appears in this screener. Something crucial if you want to improve your trading and automate it more. This can help you also with emotion control when it comes to trading, because you learn to trade more mechanically. Something that I like to just tweak here is the order distance, because I prefer to put it at 0.5, so this way I'm gonna get notified when there's actually an opportunity to execute, wasting less time looking at charts. At the last window you have the settings for your screener, where you can choose what you want to see and what not. Since we've covered that, let me explain now very briefly what you actually see on the screener. So here we see BTTC USDT, a pair that is actually not good to trade from my experience because it gets a lot of spoofing, but just for this explanation we're gonna use it right now. On the far left side you see the pair, right next to it you see the distance of that big resting limit order to the price, which in this case due to spoofing it's 0%. The order type, which is showing us that it's a buy order, not a sell order. You see the order price level, and this has to do with the exact price level of the resting limit order, and it's not actually showing the current price level of the pair. Next to that you get the order quantity in coins and also the order quantity or size in dollars. So we see that this is actually slightly above $500,000 order. Then you get the order duration, which indicates to us that this order has been running for more than 96 hours. The distribution of orders quantities, which is considered high and set up at 24. Right next to that we can visualize on the screener how the order has behaved. And this came right on time, because now with WIF I can better show you this. So if we move our cursor over this, you can see the size of that order within its time period. In the places that those candles got dimmed, the order actually decreased. Where they light up, the order increased. This updates every minute and this updates every 10 minutes. Then we got the order strength that I've talked about. Then how many times price actually touched that level today, which you can see 3,000 is a lot. And the overall price touches to that level. Lastly, we also see the approximate filling of the order, indicating to us that around 60% of this resting limit order on BTTC has been filled. Now let me show you BTTC on the chart. So to do this, I'm gonna sync my charts and I'm gonna choose the color purple for spot. We're gonna do the same thing for perps later. So now when I click this, my chart should update to show me BTTC. But due to very thin books, and this is why I call this a bad pair to watch, you can't actually understand anything from this price action and behavior. Because I was unable to find a helpful example right now, we're gonna move to the Binance Perp screener, following the same approach, and hopefully we're gonna spot something nice there. So again, to add the Binance Perp screener, we're gonna add a new widget. Then we're gonna scroll down to find the widget. We're gonna choose a liquidity screener widget. Let's resize this really quickly. Here we're gonna configure its settings with pretty similar concept to the spot. But this time for the size, I'm gonna choose 100K because the perp markets have of course more volume due to the ability to use leverage. And we're gonna copy this to our Telegram notifications, change this to 0.5 and update the settings. Something that I noticed is that I forgot to select Binance Futures here. So let's do this right now. And let's sync this to the perps chart as well. So we're gonna choose the color red. We're gonna choose red here. So now whenever something appears here, I should be able to just simply click it. And as you can see, the right chart updated with a way better example than the ones I was able to find before. So here we have Ondo. And the reason why this pair appeared in the screener is because of this huge resting limit order waiting below price to get filled. So what exactly is the setup behind this? Usually what I like to see is price getting close to the big resting limit order, then I'm gonna zoom in on the price and check the footprints. From this point on, I'm waiting for a lot of selling to happen for this specific scenario. Since we have a buy order, I want to see a lot of selling getting absorbed near the huge resting limit bid without actually breaking it. I like to use those resting orders as protection for my stop losses, so for this scenario, my trade would actually look something like that, but I won't execute until I see a lot of selling or buying coming in when the price is near one of those orders. Typically, a spike in delta, whether it's a negative or positive spike, will lead me to trigger my execution. Also, as mentioned previously, to save me from wasting time looking on the charts all day, I'm using the notification system that the MobChart offers, currently only limited to Telegram, to get notified when pairs are coming near those resting orders so that I can just take a quick glance at the chart and just execute. So here you got it. This is the exact same setup that I abused to get my first account funded. But let me be honest with you, due to market changes, unfortunately for me, this setup turned quite unstable, damaging my ER, so I hadn't been able to perform the same like I used to. But like most market concepts, this might need some tweaking, so I'm gonna leave this tweaking up to you. Play around, utilize MobChart to your advantage, and figure out how you maybe can revive this exact setup, or you might be able to find the missing key that I wasn't able to find to make this work again. So anyways, this was the video. I hope you found it useful. If you want to try these setups in MobChart yourself, you will find the link in the description. And if you want to check other trading software, you can find a bunch of them on our website tradertoolmats.com, as well as take our diagnostic test to find which platform better suits your needs. For those of you that decide to take the diagnostic test, there is also a bonus reward at the end when you fill your email to find your best match. So that's all about this video. I will see you on the next one.